Good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of Dateline SAU, where you can catch all the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University. I'm Shelby Shepard.
And I'm Paige Allen. Helping people in need can be a satisfying experience, especially when those certain people are children. This past weekend, St. Ambrose students came together and participated in a dance marathon, raising nearly $50,000 for the University of Iowa Children's Hospital. Dateline SAU's Mike Kabisa has more on the story.
6 students and families came out to the Rogalski Center on the St. Ambrose campus to dance all night and raise money for the kids. They participated in games and activities and received donations throughout the night.
It's a huge event. It's a big celebration of life is what we call it. It's kind of to end our year of fundraising that we've been doing over the past 11-12 months. We try and fundraise as much money as we can to donate to the University of Iowa Children's Hospital, which is the Children's Miracle Network hospital. So we're here partying and dancing all through the night.
Participants danced the choreographed dances and kept dancing from 3 p.m. until 11 p.m. In the end, this was to raise money for the kids of the Children's Memorial Hospital of Iowa City.
I think it's wonderful, and I know we've raised a whole bunch of money just for them, so for the kids, that's all I gotta say.
Mike Kabisa, Dateline SAU.
Stress relief is something we all need. St. Ambrose University will soon be providing a way for the community to relax. The SAU chapter of her campus, an online magazine designed for college women, is sponsoring a de-stress event on Wednesday, April 24th. The event will go from 6 to 9 that night in the Rogalski Center ballroom, offering Zumba, yoga, and women's self-defense classes. The event will double as a fundraiser for local women's shelters as part of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Plus, women from the shelter are invited.
It's nice to have the stress relief, but I'm more excited than anything just to know. Obviously, I won't know who the women are, but knowing that women from the shelters are coming to this event and able, because there are a lot of people out there who need even more stress relief than we do, and it's kind of nice that we're going to open it up to them.
You can just show up or join the event on Facebook. To donate or for more information, contact Mary Madarmo.
Opening night for the St. Ambrose University Theater Department's latest production is right around the corner. Dateline SAU's Nick Volasin has a closer look at the preparations for the stage musical, Chicago.
Glitz, glam, and a little bit of treachery will be on display when SAU Theater's latest production, Chicago, hits the main stage April 19th, 20th, and 21st. Directed by longtime theater professor Corey Johnson, the musical brings an important lesson to the stage.
Chicago is, at least from my point of view, driven by the theme, all that glitters is not gold. Please. The play is snarky and sarcastic and shows us that America can definitely be spectacle driven and that we can look for the notorious and sometimes have them be more important in our world than people who do things that are good.
The musical also brings actors of all experience levels to the stage. For senior Derek Dixon, Chicago is an opportunity to try a new thing at the end of his college career.
You know, I've never been in a college production before. I've only been in one production my entire life, so it's definitely challenging.
For others, like senior Kelsey Francis, Chicago is a chance to end her acting career right where it began.
I grew up in this theater. This is the first place I ever did a show when I was in 3rd grade, and it's nice to be back here with all of the same people I worked with when I was,
But for both actors, who play Predator Fred Casely and murderous Roxy Hart, Chicago gives them a chance to be someone completely different.
He is exactly opposite of what I am in normal life.
Well, she's a terrible person. I mean, she's an awful person. I really don't like her.
After months of preparation and just 1 week until opening night, expectations are high.
My hopes is that this play goes down as one of the best musicals that we have done in the last 10 years.
Nick Volasin, Dateline SAU.
While underclassmen are currently registering for classes for the fall, seniors have begun to prepare for their graduation coming up at the end of the semester, which is just a month away. Over the past week, seniors came one step closer to graduation. On Tuesday, they gathered in the Rogalski Center to purchase graduation gowns, announcements, and class rings. Their first stop in the Rogalski Center featured signing of the Class of 2013 poster, followed by receiving their tassels, caps, and gowns. Seniors were able to purchase class rings and announcements. The university also had several representatives from various campus offices available to help and answer questions. The spring graduation ceremony will be Saturday, May 11th at the iWireless Center.
The Ambrosian Oaks are more than just a home for campus squirrels. They have played a prominent role in the image of St. Ambrose University throughout its 130-year history. Mary Scheckinger has more on what the significance of the mighty oak tree holds for St. Ambrose.
The oak tree is a long-standing symbol for St. Ambrose University, retaining its significance through the school song and through 150-year-old trees still towering over Ambrose Hall. But their symbolic prominence is not as easily noticed by a new generation of students no longer graduating under the oaks or singing the alma mater.
You know, symbols sometimes require people to spend time thinking about them and knowing their significance. The nice thing about an oak tree is they branch out in the world, and in many ways they're like what happens here at the university. Students are educated with that rich heritage, and then they carry that out to the world, to others. So the oaks are a great symbol for us.
The symbolism of the oak tree has also found its way into the design of Christ the King Chapel. Adam says the curves of the altar are fashioned to resemble a tree holding up the top of the altar. As the campus grows and the landscape changes, SAU Physical Plant says that the oaks are in the forefront of the green space design as well.
We don't like cutting them down, but if we do have to remove one, we like to replace it.
Hannon says that healthcare maintenance is the most critical part of keeping the oaks intact. Each tree is inspected by a local arborist every 3 years, and the type of oak tree is also taken into account.
There is a concern with oak wilt that's hit the Midwest, and it's been in this area, and these are bur oaks, and they're more susceptible to oak wilt, so we look at a different variety of oak.
As the oak trees stand their ground on the SAU campus, hopefully they will keep future students pondering their significance. Mary Scheckinger, Dateline SAU.
April is known nationwide as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Every 90 seconds, someone is the victim of sexual assault in the United States. On a college campus like St. Ambrose, 1 in 4 women will be sexually assaulted before they graduate. The Sexual Assault Awareness Team, or SAT, is using this month to change these statistics and raise awareness. The calendar flipped to April 1st, and there was a SAT team sitting in the cafeteria. The group wasted no time beginning to raise awareness about sexual assault. The Teal Ribbon Campaign was their first initiative this month in raising awareness about this issue. The Teal Ribbon Campaign is simple enough. Students, faculty, and staff are being asked to wear the teal ribbon throughout the month of April and sign a pledge.
They're pledging just to speak out against it if they see it, or if it's done to a friend, like try and help them, or, you know, not to sexually harass or assault anyone.
Out of all the events the group has, one takes precedence over the rest.
And Walk a Mile in Her Shoes is a national men's movement where men walk in women's high-heeled or other type women's shoes for a mile around campus.
This is the 3rd year Walk a Mile in Her Shoes will be held on the St. Ambrose campus and has begun to attract attention within the community.
The event we've started to become, it's become sort of an Ambrose tradition now. This will be the 3rd year that we do it, and each year I get more and more people from the community that email me and ask me for information about how to participate. So I think that event has become sort of our staple event of the year.
Through all of these events, the STAT team has one simple goal.
We really hope to accomplish just educating people and and we want them to know that it does happen, even on this small campus that we have.
If you would like information regarding this month's events, contact Amy Scott in the Counseling Center or Lindsay Mack via SAU email.
Coming up in sports, the Springs team are starting to hit their midseason stride.
And SAU men's bowling, men's volleyball, and dance teams are ready to compete on the national stage.
John Rolfe has the highlights and more coming up after this short break.
Stay tuned.
I really couldn't have asked for anything more. I was, on the air 3 weeks into my college experience, and I think that kind of thing, and showing the trust that everyone believed what I could do, and everyone was always there to help me out, and it really just paved the way for what my 4 years would be. It's a great department, a lot of great things go on, and you get out of it what you put in. If you put in the hard work, if you show that you want to learn a lot, you're going to, and the sky's the limit in what you can do. St. Ambrose is an amazing place. From all the teachers that are involved in whichever field you want to go into, whether it be communications or anything else, everyone around here really wants you to be successful, and it's just a great place that you can get involved in so many different things, meet great people, have a great experience, and hopefully when you finish those 4 years, you look back and have as positive a thought about it as I do. Everything just really had a big impact on who I became when I left St. Ambrose.
The St. Ambrose men's volleyball team was looking to secure an automatic berth in the national tournament when they entered their conference tournament as the #1 seed. Their first match was against Lords, and they were victorious in 5 sets. Dan Deerking led the Bees with 11 kills. Kyle Schwetz also reached double figures in kills with 10. The Fighting Bees then squared off against Cardinal Stritch for the conference tournament title and pulled out a 5-set victory. The Bees won 2 of the 3 extended sets in the win. George Langheld was one of 4 players to reach double figures in kills with 19. Nick Lynch had 24 assists in the win. The Fighting Bee men's volleyball team and men's bowling team will be competing in the respective national tournaments this week. The St. Ambrose women's dance team left on Monday to defend their NDA National Dance Championship title. The team is in Dayton Beach, Florida to compete once again for the national title. The team performed for their fans on April 7th as part of a send-off celebration with the SAU cheerleading team, which is also competing at Nationals. The dance team earned a berth at Nationals in a college camp at Northwest Missouri State last fall. It was a great reward for a lot of hard work.
Normally we have workouts twice a week, and then we practice about 3 or 4 times a week outside of workouts. So we make sure that we get in shape, and as soon as we start actually working on the performance itself, we get really nitpicky to make sure it's flawless. It's just great that we get to perform again and try to bring back another championship to the university.
The dance team will be competing in the NAIA division at the national championships. The St. Ambrose baseball team was looking to build on their 2-game winning streak when they traveled to Des Moines, Iowa for 4 games against the Grandview Vikings on April 6th through 7th. On April 6th, the Bees lost the first game 3-1 before rebounding to win the second game 15-4. Alex Timmerman led the offensive outburst with 4 RBIs. Tom Pryor collected 3 hits and scored 3 times in the win. The Fighting Bees played 2 more games against Grandview on April 7th and split them as well. Jake Field supplied the offense in the win with 2 RBIs. Pitcher Zach Roth threw a complete game for the Bees, only giving up 1 run on 5 hits. The baseball team then hosted Ashford for a pair of games on April 9th and got swept. The Bees managed only 10 hits in the 2 defeats. The St. Ambrose softball team was looking to get back on track when they participated in the St. Francis Spring Fling Tournament on April 5th through 6th in Joliet, Illinois, and they had mixed results. On April 5th, the Queen Bees dropped their first game to Indiana Wesleyan before rebounding for an 11-3 win against St. Francis. Mackenzie Snowbarger opened the floodgates with a grand slam in the 5th inning. The next day, the Bees beat Huntington 4-1 before falling to Judson by 1 run in their last game of the tournament. Nicole Garland and Catherine Brown combined to give up 1 run in 7 innings in the win. The Queen Bees then traveled to Cedar Rapids, Iowa for a pair of games against Mount Mercy and lost both of them. Sarah Frericks collected 3 hits in the 6-4 loss. The St. Ambrose women's tennis team was looking to earn its first win of the spring season when the team traveled to Galesburg, Illinois to take on Knox College. The Queen Bees would earn a hard-fought 5-4 victory. Tasha Olson won both her matches in the win. 3 Fighting Bee athletes earned Conference Player of the Week honors this past week. Baseball swept the honors as Tom Pryor and Zach Rolfe were each named Player of the Week. Kaz Johnson also was named Conference Player of the Week for men's outdoor track. And that will do it for sports this week. I'm John Rolfe.
Thanks, John, and that will do it for this week's edition of Dateline SAU.
Make sure you join us next week for the latest news and sports from St. Ambrose University.
This week, we asked students on campus what superpower they would most like to have.
Here's what they had to share.
We'll see you back here again next week. Thanks for watching.
Good night.
My superpower would definitely be to be able to control water, because water is everywhere. So if you can control it, imagine it. You can create ice. When it's raining out like today, we can just like stop it, and it's just like awesome. It's the best element. So definitely control water.
If I had a superpower, it would be to change the weather to sunshine and rainbows all the time.
Flying, so I could travel the world and not have to pay any airfare.
If I could have any superpower, it would be the ability to stop time. So I could just stop time and get everything done, and then after I was done with everything, like play time and like hang out with my friends and have fun.
Play music anywhere I go so I can make people happy.
I would choose teleportation because it would be the most efficient superpower to ever have. Like if you wanted to go home for a weekend, you could just boom, teleport home, you're there, enjoy like the longest. You wouldn't have to worry about drive time or especially for me because I live in Kansas, so it's like an 8-hour drive. And so I wouldn't have to worry about that. I could leave at like midnight and it would take 2 seconds to pop back to campus. I could go to like Mexico for a weekend. I could pop over to Italy, wherever I wanted to go. It'd be the best superpower, just the best.